Our guest is already here? Super. Game. Okay, let's go. It's after 6 again, and I'm excited to kick back after the workday to pick the brains of the country's greats. Today, we'll be talking to a man of action, and boy, he's done quite a lot in the government sector. To everyone, Secretary Vince Dizon. Vince?
Hi, sir.
So good to see you. We have you here because of public service, Vince. Has that always been something in your mind, something you've always wanted to do, a dream from childhood?
I wouldn't say a dream from childhood, but I guess it was something that came as a result of where my life just led me to. Fresh out of college, I joined the Senate. I joined Senator Angara. The public sector seems to just be calling to me at every point in my life since that day in 1995.
Let's talk a little bit about Senator Angara because he had such a big influence in your life, right, Vince?
Yes,
so
he did.
You come out of LaSalle and you start working for him. What was it like?
It was hard. Yeah. It was very, very challenging because Senator Angara is really one terror of a boss. And of course, his standards were very, very high. You know, he was an academician himself. He was the president of UP. I think I got forged by fire, as they say, early on in my professional life.
Which were some of the more challenging things you found yourself with before moving to your current positions?
Government is really very, very hard because it's a very, very rigid organization. Yeah. You just have to keep on moving. But at the same time, you just really have to focus on the things that you think you can do. If you're thinking of too many things that you want to do, you'll end up doing very little.
Yeah. You know, this whole COVID-19 period, I'm sure every day, particularly in the early days, Vince, was a crisis for you. Does any day stand out in particular, or any occasion or any event that you found particularly challenging?
Every day during this entire year has been a tremendous challenge. But if there was a moment, maybe not a day, a single day, I think that moment was in March. Just to reset and go back to 10 months ago and having to deal with the same things that you had to deal with then.
Actually, the whole infrastructure as well of the financial sector was ironically given a massive boost during this pandemic because all the digital channels had to be put in place. Even in BPI, we had built up a lot of digital infrastructure, but suddenly, boom, it went to use immediately. You've done a lot. You've provided leadership in many areas. Anything that's there in your mind that says, this one really marked and made it all worthwhile?
Yeah. Clark gives me personally and also the institution, I think, BCDA, so much pride. And it was all about focus. When we started out, our Chairman Garcia and myself, we really made it a point to say that, hey, if we're gonna get something done this 6 years while we're here, it's gonna be Clark. We've gotta focus on making Clark a model for the entire country.
Anything that there in your mind that you wake up in the morning and say, I'd like to transform this or transform that? Any challenges that still remain?
Hopefully we can get out of this pandemic as quick as we can, but I think a lot of things that can be done is really to fast track all of the infrastructure projects and our roads. Like, sorry, I know you love to motorbike, and I mean, wouldn't it be great to have just highways all the way from San Fernando, La Union, for example, all the way to Bicol?
Well, mobility creates business, the economy moves. So hopefully you'll stay on that infrastructure push and keep developing on that front, Vince.
We've got a year, so let's see what we can push.
Vince, if I could ask you, the role of the financial sector in a time like this, you see it evolve in some way?
Absolutely. First of all, I mean, I think the financial sector, the banking sector, really pitched in a lot, especially for our ordinary citizens who, suddenly lost their day-to-day jobs.
Right.
I know the private sector and the banking sector must be hurting as well, but just to be able to do that for, the common Filipino is a huge contribution to the effort.
Well, Vince, being such a public figure, not everyone gets to hear about your own personal life. So I'd like to take advantage of this opportunity. If you'll allow me to get a little more personal. I understand, Vince, you're into cycling. Maybe you could name your top 5 cycling places in the Philippines.
3 of the 5 are in Clark, and the other 2 are in Baguio. And the common denominator of all of them is they're all hills. They're all hills. That's
the tough one.
The first 3 are in Clark, the Wall.
So the Wall is where in Clark?
It's on the north side of Clark, and it's called the Wall because it's right beside the perimeter wall of Clark on the north side. So it's about 4 kilometers. Very, very mild, but a gradient that's very continuous. Number 2 is Monasterio. That's near New Clark City. It's in Tarlac, and it's called Monasterio because you end up in a monastery in Tarlac, in San Jose. It's beautiful.
Number 3.
Number 3 is San Martin. This is also in Clark. It's a hill in Clark, very short, but with a very steep gradient.
Number 4.
And then the last 2 are in Baguio, Kennon Road.
That's steep.
I've done it once with Mayor Benji Magalo.
Okay.
And it was a great experience. Very difficult.
Number 5.
And then Alpha Land Baguio. This is the most difficult one amongst the 5 because it's very steep. It goes up to a gradient of about 26%.
I've actually seen it before. It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful place, and then you just climb up the top, and it's very, very steep. Even cars have a hard time going up that road.
I understand, Vince, that BPI has been your only personal bank?
My family, we always bank with, we've always banked with BPI, and we were lucky enough to have I think in our home in San Juan, we had 4 BPI branches 10 minutes, 5 minutes away from our home. Your network of branches, that helps a lot.
We're very proud to have you as a customer, Vince. So Vince, you're a busy guy. You gotta balance this out, right? Family and social life.
First of all, 0 social life. As in 0, the past, I don't know. Family time, definitely, you know, and we just try to use the time that we have in ways that we love doing. So for my wife and I, it's biking, it's running. For the family, it's we enjoy eating. Whenever we have the time, then that's how we spend it.
Your daughter, 10 years old. Anything about your life that you'd like her to pick up on?
I'm pretty liberal with my daughter, meaning she can do what she wants, but what I do want for her is I want her to be very broad-minded and experience things that I myself have, so I want her to study abroad.
Yeah, but I remember you told me once as well, Vince, you ended up in the UK for a while. You got a scholarship of some kind?
Yes, this was in 98. I was 3 years into my work in the Senate. I was privileged enough to have gotten the Shevening Scholarship grant. I went to the University of Reading.
Okay.
They had a great program for agricultural economics.
I think the last time I saw you cycling to work, Vince, which is what a nice way to live, cycling to work every day.
Yeah.
How did you pick up your passion for cycling?
Well, I picked it up when I started living in Clark, and that's really how I got into it. Especially since my wife loves doing it as well, so it's quality time with her as well.
But I think it's also been for you. I heard through the grapevine that you used to weigh a little bit more, but you lost a lot of weight over time, and I think that's kind of an important thing for people to see as well, but you went through that transformation yourself as well. You look super fit now.
Well, I don't know about super fit, but believe it or not, I lost 55 pounds at one point. I used to weigh about 185 pounds. For my height, that's a lot of weight.
And mentally, did that change your life as well?
Definitely. I feel much younger now than I was in 2007, 2008 when I weighed that much.
Vince, to go a little bit back in time in your own personal journey, you mentioned that perspective also changed your mind. You had the chance to see a different country, a different way of doing things. I also understand you spent a little time in Prague.
Yes.
Why Prague, Vince? How did you end up in Prague? A beautiful city, by the way.
That's a question everybody asks me when they find out. It was during a time in my life where I guess I needed some time out of politics, because this was in 2004. I was involved in the presidential election at that time.
Self-reflection.
Self-reflection, you know.
And so when you reflect, Vince, what have these travel experiences given you?
You know, a lot of, it just changes your perspective on things. And I think, especially for people in government, being exposed to the world is so important. You get a feel and an experience of what we can have, what our people can have.
But Vince, do you ever dream about the private sector? You think about other roles that you can play? Do you have any dreams of any kind?
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't really had the chance to think about what's going to happen after this. But I think one thing I want to do is maybe go back to the academe. Just, you know.
Oh, really? Okay.
Teach a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Quiet life.
Yeah. But you should teach public service from your point of view. I mean, how to turn it into an action-oriented job rather than a theoretical job.
Yes, especially the young people nowadays, because you need young people who are dynamic, energetic, you know, very broad-minded, but you also have to put in some good old-fashioned patience,
grit,
resilience. They're going to be going through some tough times.
So Vince, to a lighter part, I guess there are many myths about the public sector, and I think you're the best person to help debunk some of these myths. All right, Vince. Working for the government will make you look older than you are. True or false?
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. If you compared my hair in 2015 to my hair now, all white. I've aged probably at least 20 years. Boomers like the touch of paper and won't ever go online when it comes to banking.
Absolutely false. So it's quite interesting. At BPI, we've seen over 21% of our boomers at BPI enrolled in our online banking app. It's been quite amazing. Life in government is as exciting and eventful as TV dramas portray. True or false?
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. The drama we have in government is probably even more than what you see on TV, especially the things that happen behind the scenes. There's a lot of drama there. We could do with less drama and more work. Absolutely.
So Vince, a public servant's private life should be made public as well. Is that a true or false statement?
I would have to say false. I don't think it should.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. If I were in your shoes, I would say the same thing too.
Among all the organizations you handle, and there are quite a lot, I'm sure, BPI is your favorite?
Of course. You know, BPI, extraordinary institution, we touch the lives of so many people, and this push to touch the lives of unbanked now through Banco and being far more inclusive in what we're doing really just gives me just a great deal of happiness, so delighted. All right, Vince. Okay, last question. You love superheroes, and would you like to be one? True or false?
True. I'm a big Avengers fan, so and I love Robert Downey Jr., so I would have to say Iron Man.
He's hysterical. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Spider-Man, but that was when I was a kid. Vince, it's really been super having you here today. Thank you very much. I know you're running a mile a minute on a regular basis.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you. And maybe we can, you know, I can invite you to Clark and we can maybe cycle, or you can motorbike to Clark there.
Every time you invite me to Clark, I always go, Vince. So I look forward to it. I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.